Minneapolis and St. Paul are great cities for cyclists. In fact, Minneapolis is recognized worldwide for its bike infrastructure and its bike friendliness. But what a lot of people don't know is that our suburbs are also great for biking. This is the Rush Creek Regional Trail. Connects Elm Creek Reserve with the Coon Rapids Dam, which then connects into the Coon Rapids Trail system to take you all the way to Bunker Hills on the border of Coon Rapids and Blaine and Andover. But it also connects you to the Minneapolis trails via the Mississippi River system. So really, from here I can get to all four corners of the Twin Cities. This is one of the things that makes our area unique, because not every metro area has a trail system like this. So that got me thinking, with rising gas prices, how realistic is it to commute via bike from the near suburbs? We know that the network within Minneapolis and St. Paul is really robust and easy to get around, but how well do the suburbs connect to the cities for bike commuters? I'm going to do a test to see if bike commuting from a suburb is more efficient than driving. And to be a little more realistic, I'm not going to go from, Maple Grove or Plymouth or any of those places. I'm going to go from a first-ring suburb like Roseville. So yesterday, I rode my bike from right here in Roseville, just south of Highway 36, to the office in downtown Minneapolis. And today I'm going to drive. Whatever Waze says is the more efficient route, I'll follow that, and we'll just see which is a better way to go. I'm taking off in my truck at 8 a.m. just like I did the previous day on my bike. Traffic is light for a Tuesday, and Waze is predicting no major slowdowns, but I still have to contend with stop signs, stoplights, and even the dreaded metered ramp to get onto Highway 36. By 8:05, I'm moving quickly on the freeway in my truck. On my bike, I'm just nearing the southern border of Roseville. You might be wondering, well, why'd you pick Roseville for this test? And that's because I think it's an ideal first-ring suburb. We've got a pretty easy commute to downtown Minneapolis, pretty easy commute to downtown St. Paul. If you're working out someplace like Fridley at Medtronic, you've got a pretty easy drive there too. And housing is affordable, schools are good. And to be perfectly honest, my grandmother lived here when I was a kid, so I have a soft spot for Roseville. By 8:08, I'm biking through the St. Paul campus of the U of M and continuing to move at the speed limit on 35W, nearing downtown in my truck. A minute and a half later, I'm exiting 35W onto 4th Street. By 10 after, I've reached the University of Minnesota Transit Way, a protected roadway open only to bikes, buses, and emergency vehicles. The Transit Way was opened in 1992 and runs about 2.5 miles between the St. Paul campus and Huntington Bank Stadium. In the car, I've hit a long light waiting to turn onto First Avenue, but at least it gives me a chance to catch up on Morning Edition. Soon after, I'm crossing Nicollet Island into downtown. Do I think I'm going to beat my truck on a bike? Probably not. Traffic isn't that bad in Minneapolis, but that's hardly the point. And of course I would be right. At 16 minutes into my trip, I'm just a few blocks from my destination in the truck, but still have nearly half my trip left on the bike. Okay, so I'm right around the corner from my destination. It only took me about 18 minutes to get here, which, traffic is a lot lighter now than it was before the pandemic when people were still going to the office. But I still have to find parking, and I need to pay for parking if I'm going to stay here all day. This is why I said the trip was about which mode of transportation was more efficient, not necessarily faster. Daily parking in Minneapolis costs up to $25, depending on the ramp, and that's after using a couple bucks worth of fuel to get there. On the other hand, even on my electric bike, it's costing me just a few pennies worth of electricity, and I don't need to worry about paying to park it. It's one of my favorite views right here. This is the real benefit of commuting on a bike. You can relax and enjoy the view. You can take in some fresh air. You can coast down a hill and look up at this amazing city we call home. I'm nearly to my destination now and hopping onto the Cedar Lake Trail. Here we are, the office. I don't have an office downtown. I don't know what you were expecting. The trip on my bike took a little over 32 minutes, so almost twice as long as in the car. Thanks to our interconnected system of protected trails and bike lanes, the trip was safe, stress-free, and relatively quick. You might think, oh, I'm not a cyclist. Why do I care about bike lanes? They don't benefit me. But the truth is, every rider in a bike lane has one less car causing traffic on the road, one less vehicle that you have to compete with for parking. Bike lanes also make our roads safer, and not just for people on bikes. A 2019 study by the University of Colorado, Denver, found that bike lanes reduce fatalities for all road users, not just cyclists. The study looked at 13 years of data from 12 large U.S. cities, including Minneapolis, and found that total road fatalities decreased in cities that invested in bike lanes. So how do bike lanes make roads safer for motorists? It comes down to smart road design. People tend to speed on roads like this, even though it's clearly posted 30 miles an hour. Because the lanes are nice and wide, the sight lines are wide, I get a false sense of security, and maybe I feel like I can check my cell phone, maybe I can feel like I can speed a little bit, and it's dangerous for other drivers, it's dangerous for cyclists, it's dangerous for pedestrians, it's dangerous for the people who live on this road. But on a road like this, where the lanes are narrow and there's a lot going on, my brain says, hold on, it's not safe to go fast here. You need to pay attention. And the bike lanes, bus lanes, things like that, they act as traffic calming elements as well. In New York City, multiple studies have found that whenever bike lanes are installed, injury crashes for all road users, drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians, are reduced by an average of 40%. Another study by Portland State University's Transportation Research and Education Center found that bike lanes contribute to economic vitality as well. The study included Central Avenue in Minneapolis, where it found that after bike lanes were installed in 2012, retail employment increased by 13%, food sales increased by 52%, and food service employment increased by 31%. All of these were higher than the control area, and mirror a study done in Salt Lake City that found retail sales increased 9% on streets after the installation of bike lanes. So whether you're a daily bike commuter, a casual weekend rider, or have never ridden a bike in your life, our bicycle infrastructure is one of the things making the Twin Cities a wonderful place to live for us all.